Righto, let's have a look at another world sporting champion for the Deep South. Just fantastic. Corbin Strong, of course, winning gold as part of the men's team pursuit at the World Junior Track Cycling Championships over in Switzerland. Let's bring in the SIT Southern Performance Cycling Hub's head coach, Sid Cumming, who joins us. Mate, how good was that? I know you were up in the early hours of the morning, watching that performance, seeing another Southlander ride their way to the top step and a rainbow jersey. Can't beat it, eh?
No, can't beat it at all. It was great. 3:30 in the morning. Nice late night or early morning, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, worth it though. I'm sure. I mean, talk us through that. We were having a quick yarn last night up at the Steel Gala dinner about it. And Corbin played a key role, as you'd anticipate, in that team pursuit. Got on the front, took them from trailing the Aussies to really blowing them out of the water.
Yeah. It was actually the French they raced in the final, and the French were fastest through 3K in the heats and as well. So, but they were only 0.1 of a second down going into the last 3K, and then Corbin went on the front, and after one lap, which is 200 metres, they were 1 second up. So he actually took 0.9 of a second out of the whole French team being on the front. And then 4 laps to go, he stayed on the front for two of those, actually the 3 out of the last 5 laps he was on the front, and then Bailey O'Donnell took over and held it to the finish, which is pretty cool.
It's outstanding work, isn't it? I mean, gee, we talked, and you and I have talked about it. I've talked to Corbin himself too. He's going over there with, to be fair, a little bit of expectation, around him, and he's still got a bit of that, obviously for the remainder of the championships. But to go out there and deliver, when I guess you have got that expectation, that's something else too. That says a lot about the young fella.
Yeah, no, he's a very, very talented young fella. 6 months ago he had a bike crash and broke bones in his back, and he was off his bike for 8 weeks, and he's going, do you think it's worthwhile me going? And I said, look, we'll just slow things down and work through. And he's worked really, really hard with all his, with his weight training and obviously on the bike, and he's come right through. Got a great head on him for a young fella. He thinks things out. He's very analytical, and he races the Omnium tonight, which he's ranked number 1 in the world. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. There's 5 races. It's meant to be 4, but the fields are that big that they've got to do a 70-lap points race just to qualify before they do 4 other races.
Sid, it seems like a few years that we've heard out of cycling that we've got a pretty special kid in terms of Corbin Strong. When did you sort of first realise that, geez, we've got something good here?
Well, it's really hard when they're young because you just don't know how they're going to develop. I would probably think, the last 18 months to 2 years, he's just really hit his straps and shown us what he can do. We had a Subway series up in Cambridge 4 weeks ago, and the New Zealand team raced at it, and we had Southlanders up there, and there were 16 races over the weekend, and the best in New Zealand were there, and he won every race. So that just shows you, the quality of him. Really.
And you mentioned about the crash. I mean, that is a massive effort in itself to come back from that. It sounded, it was obviously very nasty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And, especially him, because he rides his bike. I mean, when he's not training, he's riding his bike. He come home from Junior Worlds last year, and we sat down and had a yarn, and I said, what are you going to do? So I'm just going home to jump on the mountain bike for a bit of fun. So, he just loves riding his bike, and even when he had his neck and he had what are they called, around your neck, holding his head up, basically taking the pressure off us. And Dad come home for lunch, and who's riding his mountain bike trying to ride his mountain bike out the road, and he had to get turned around and sent back home again. But that's just the way he is, and. You don't want to knock that enthusiasm, and but he's very, very good off the bike as well. He eats really well. He does his weight training. He does heaps of stretching. He rolls out every night. He's very, 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 very focused.
Coach's dream, good stuff. Hey, so let's see. So as you say, Omnium, where he's ranked number one in the world, and I think Madison is ranked number one in the world too on points, as well too. So there's potential. I guess it depends on how the Omnium goes. There's potential that he'll go in that one too at the end of the championships. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I mean, you just don't know. There's a lot of things can happen. Like George Jackson, one of the guys who rode the Pursuit, he didn't even finish the points race last night. So. You can have a crash. You can, there's a lot of things can happen on the track.
Yeah.
And over 5 races, which are, they race 5 hard races tonight or tomorrow morning, and the last one is 120 lap points race. So, I mean, there's a lot of things can happen on the bike, but all things being equal, I'm sure he'll be at the pointy end of the field by the end of the night.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Hey, great to catch up, Sid. Cheers for it, mate. And I know you'll be up watching, so enjoy.
Yeah, righto.
Cheers, buddy.
Mate.